Go. Hello, beautiful souls. This is Jamie Goldstein, intuitive astrologer with the Bridging Sky and Earth, Embodying the Star Wisdom Summit. And today we have Embodiment and Human Potential Guide, Maria Zeta. And I'm so excited to have you here, Maria, because you're one of the first people I thought of. I have had the pleasure of receiving embodiment guidance from you. I've taken classes you've taught, and I just love how you merge together astrology with embodiment practices. And so just thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. It's actually my pleasure. I also learn a lot and a lot of inspiration from astrologers like you. And I feel like it's such an important time also to share our gifts and with the help of astrology, really be able to utilize our knowledge of ourselves and what's happening so that we can, take advantage of it and make use of it for our benefit. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to help.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here. And Maria is going to share with us on health, happiness, and wholeness, the drive of life, and embodying your human potential. So I'm going to read a little bit about Maria's bio. She has an incredible bio and um, has acquired so much beautiful life experience from her studies and different journeys she's gone on in life. So Maria was always interested in well-being, even at a young age. In 1998, she got into meditation and went to India to learn the benefits of vegetarianism, positive thinking and stress-free living. In 2002, she fell in love with yoga, working for an internationally awarded wellness spa and an island destination, and a year after began facilitating the practices all over Metro Manila. In love with wellness and beauty, she became a signature model for several beauty and wellness brands and has won awards in fitness. She has appeared as a guest in a local and cable TV networks regarding the mind, health, beauty, and yoga. And in 2006, she was a spokeswoman for the Nestlé Wellness Tours. In 2009, she was awarded as Nesvita's 10 Most Beautiful Inside and Out. In 2005, Maria met her mentor who trained her in the science of mind and metaphysics. She got her certification for level 3 of iYoga, the integrated yoga wellness program, which integrates ancient and scientific mind-body techniques, principles, and disciplines that support vitality, immunity, and the brain, nervous system, and the body, securing well-being and health now and in the long term. The program was taken to offices around the country, making it easy for people to incorporate health into their itinerary for lasting lifetime results. Under senior instructors, Maria concentrates her abilities in designating and facilitating embodiment and human potential programs that empower people to enjoy and realize their most cherished wellness ideals today. Maria, you are so inspiring. You have such a magnificent bio. And so I would love to just jump in here and ask, what is the drive of life?
So I think that's such an important question right now, especially with everything that's going on with the world, the pandemic, people clamoring for what it is to be alive or to be healthy, and we were always taught to look at nature, because everything is nature. Life is nature. When you look at nature, nature always thrives. When you look at the stars, the flowers, the trees. Nature is always thriving. You can't count the blades of grass. You can't count the number of sand in the desert. You can't count the number of cells in your body or the hair in your head. You can try, but you can't. The stars also, so it's abundant, it's thriving, it's blooming, it's shining. Nature always blooms, right? It doesn't stay stuck as a seed. The nature is to just burst forth like an acorn is so small, but it bursts forth as a big tree, giving fruits. Buds don't stay buds; they bloom, and they spread their fragrance. Stars shine. So if you look at life, which is nature, it is really always thriving, blooming, growing. Without worry, right? If you look at nature, cats don't look like they're stressed. Cats don't care. But they're always provided, like they're always cool. They're like, hey, I'm walking, I'm gonna eat. you know, like flowers bloom, like they don't stress out how they're gonna get their food, right? Like they just stay there and they bloom. They're provided for. So everything in nature takes care of itself, is harmonious. It's an enclosed system where everything just, it's an ecosystem that takes care of itself and also is itself. You know, the flower is itself, but it contributes to the whole. So its nature is perfect expression, perfect harmony, perfect life, perfect health, you know. And as humans, so you know, as humans, that's kind of the conundrum, right? Like humans have become like controlling in a way, like manipulating structures or even nature, but we are of nature, meaning we are not beyond life because we are life ourselves, you know. And disease is actually being away from ease. Like if nature is easy, this ease is, you know, the word itself is being away from ease. So then our nature is the same as life. Our nature is to thrive, to bloom, to grow, to burst forth from the seed that we are, from pure potential to perfect realization, perfect expression, bloom perfectly as all the flowers, the stars, the trees, without worry, without, you know, being supported, supplied, safe, and secure as all life. And I think that's an important groundwork because most of the problems we have, I think, stem from thinking that we are apart from life, that lack is the truth, you know. Although there is lack, right? Although there is lack, definitely, I mean, it's, we're not bypassing that, but to understand that that's not where we end, because that's not our destiny. As all life, our destiny is to experience ourselves in our fullness. So the drive of life is wholeness, fullness, completion, perfect expression, as all, everything in nature. And of course, if we look at ourselves as life, you know, we want to look at the nature of man, of course, like different from plants, animals, trees. You know, humans have awareness, right? Rumi said that God dreams, sleeps in the minerals, in rocks, dreams in plants, stirs in animals, and is awake in man. So what makes us different is from, what makes us different from, there's a squirrel in the tree. I'm seeing it. So what makes us different from everything else in life is that we are aware. So we can experience things based on our awareness, but that's in a way that's our curse and beauty as man, because we get to experience it in awareness, our fullness. You know, we get to choose it, we get to approach it, we get to actually co-create and interact with life. We're not just like automatons blooming, you know. We actually get to interact and dialogue with our creation, with our very creation, with our very life. And we want to look at the, you know, there's a lot of studies that's been done about man, but I want to keep it simple to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like it shows us our different, being man, we do have different areas of life that are important for us to fulfill. Like, although we are thriving, how are we thriving? You know, how are we blooming? You know, we're not like, of course, we're not flowers. So, you know, we don't just bloom like that. We need to eat. You know, as humans, we have basic needs. We have to eat. We have to have shelter, clothing. You know, we have to be able to survive. So you have the basic needs. We have the security needs, you know, being able to reproduce, feeling secure, having a job or at least something to sustain you. You have love and belonging needs. You know, we do live in a, we do live in an, we are humans, so we are social creatures. We feel our value on our own. We have value, but we also feel our value in connection to other people. Other people mirror to us our value, whether it's relationship value or talents and skills value, our usefulness in society, which brings us to the higher need, which is the self-esteem needs, how we are useful to society and how, you know, we do get to express our talents and skills that are given to us uniquely, and the self-realization needs, which is at the topmost, to feel like you're making a contribution, you're living up to your highest potential. So, you know, I guess compare, this is just to compare ourselves to the trees, right? Like all of life is unique, you know. So life is all of this, And as humans, this is our constitution as life. Although we are blooming, we are meant to bloom, shine, grow as all of life. This is how we are unique in our signature as humans, how we get to express fully, how we get to thrive, shine, and bloom, is through having these different needs acknowledged and filled. Yes, and so this is kind of like the dialogue we have as life is, it doesn't happen automatically. So like although that's the desire, right? So sometimes like we have that, like, why am I not happy, or why am I sad, or I'm supposed to bloom. But with man, it's not, it's an engagement. It's an engagement of our very nature that gets us there, addressing these various needs that can be on a daily basis. We definitely need to eat every day, we definitely need to have, and you don't need to will it also. Like there are moments like you just feel like you want to engage in community or be social, or you want intimacy. So these are very important needs we have, so that we do get to fulfill our potential as man. So comparing ourselves to the acorn, to the tree, this is our potential, is our make, and engaging it, engaging our needs, engaging our different, the different areas that makes us human, allows us to thrive and become what we were designed to be. Kind of like, I guess, how astrology, that's why astrology, I think, is also so important, because astrology also adds a different flavor to this design. you know I think that's why, for me, like when I learned astrology, it helped me a lot 4 years ago, because I was kind of lost. I felt like I needed to fit some pieces and I didn't understand certain pieces. So learning about myself through astrology made me really understand myself, my unique bents, interests, why I want certain things, why I don't, why I repel certain people, why I attract certain people. So that understanding helped me a lot to honor my needs, my unique needs as a person, and our needs also arise. We also need to acknowledge, it's so important to acknowledge these needs, because we are not just as all life, like flowers have, there are so many species of flowers, right? But all of them are beautiful. So many species of plants we cannot count, even marine life, like there's so many species, but all of them are good and beautiful, and all of them have their place on earth. So the thing with society, if you grow up in society without knowing these things, without understanding astrology, your unique blueprint, without understanding, like, because we never really grew up with this awareness, right? We grow up bumping into things that make us not feel good, and and when we bump into them, that's when we start asking questions, and that's when we start discovering and wanting to discover what it is that we are. And definitely, like, our background also comes into play. We do have needs, and some of these needs are installed by our upbringing, our culture. We don't necessarily have to bypass that, but we can engage it in conversation by asking if it's something that we actually want to continue, or if we want to try other paths. That's the beauty also of being human. We did come installed with some things, but we have free will to kind of navigate it and choose and dialogue, so we can ascend and evolve, or involve ourselves in our evolution, in our experience and self-realization, so that it's our liking and joy.
Oh, I just love this, Maria. And I love how the summit, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, I'm sorry, Southern Hemisphere, but in the Northern Hemisphere, this, summit is aligning just before the equinox. So our spring equinox, which is where that drive of life, the force of life starts sprouting. There's that seed sprouting, and we see the force of life is so, so strong at this time of year. And it was just, I kept on thinking about, oh, how this is so in alignment with that spring equinox energy. And do you have any suggestions on how we can connect with the natural rhythm of the seasons of the spring equinox with that big burst of energy in life?
Yes, I think as the beauty of being humans is we did not come without support. Actually, our bodies itself goes with nature. So that's the beauty of life, is that it does take care of itself. it supports itself, right? Like nature never worries. And in our bodies, like if you look at your body, like you eat, and even if you're upside down, the food digests. It's an automatic process. You don't need to tell it what to do. Like you're sleeping, but your heart still pumps blood throughout your body to keep you alive and you wake up. So most of the vital processes that keep us alive, like even balancing homeostasis is established in the most natural way without our needing to do it, so that we are actually free to explore. So these are actually coming naturally to us. And as humans, we have an inbuilt system that guides us towards what's good for us and what's not. And it's our feelings. It's our feelings that actually guide us. So that's why it's important to honor our feelings, because our feelings will tell us, okay, I feel like I'm so lethargic today. So so I think I want to run, like just
Yeah.
just uh, just honoring those feelings, especially with the change of the season. Sometimes, like I guess we've been programmed to just go go go, right? And then you're tired, but you have this idea that, but I think I need to be successful. So you push, but even the seasons, there's if you look at the seasons, there's rising, and then there's just being even, and then there's a slow denoma, falling action in autumn, and then you're just, and winter is like just relaxing and enjoying, right? Enjoying what you've accumulated throughout, and then you just release again, and then you rise again, just like the sun rises and sets. So in the body, it's the same. So it's very important that we honor our feelings. Um, exactly that. Like notice how you're feeling. If you're feeling sad or depressed, and trying to find out what is causing it, right? Like, or if you're feeling lethargic, definitely there are recipes for joy. So the first thing is, again, honoring the needs. So going back to the human design of having several needs met. If you're depressed, then maybe you can look at that. Maybe you're not meeting a particular need. Maybe you're lonely and you haven't admitted it. Maybe you've needed intimacy and you haven't allowed yourself, or maybe you're not activating certain talents and skills that you have accumulated, and your desire is to just express yourself. And so there are several approaches, but definitely it's, um, feelings are guides, and we are not intended to stay there. So for example, you're not feeling good. Acknowledging that you're not feeling good is just the first step, and asking yourself why will lead you to the answer, because it's always directing you to the light. Just as the shadow is intended to bring you to the light source. It's not supposed to kind of just keep you there. There's a light source. So when you turn away from the shadow, you see the light. And in metaphysics, or in science of mind training, uh, honoring your feelings, like desires, there are three things that are key: desires, inspiration, and admiration. So if you're feeling tired, then rest. If you're hungry, eat. If you're full, stop eating. And then also honoring our desires. So for example, this is very important, especially with equinox, and like, don't bypass your desires. So for example, like, there, especially like, that's why I'm grateful with astrology. I started with more of the lunar phases. Like, I noticed I was engaging it, and it became personal to me. I noticed that, during the waning stage, like, I noticed certain issues were releasing, and I noticed something was rising in me, like I was wanting something. So it's very important that we honor that, because it's actually life bringing us forward. So our desires, when you look at the meaning of a desire, it's actually a bursting forth. Like, a desire is something that makes you feel like, exactly, from the seed, it's like you're bursting forth. It's like you want something bigger. Like, I want to go to Egypt. There was a time, like, I just saw myself like traveling, being in the beach, and I was like, should I go now? But maybe I should just marinate that. Obviously that's a desire that wants to be supported. Just the desire to travel. You can write it down. Write down your desires. uh, it's life wanting to to express through you. So we are all life. So what we want to do is not separate life from ourselves. Life is there, but it's not apart from us, it is us. And life engages us as life itself expressing. Life is us yearning to experience itself, express itself and enjoy itself as ourselves, as our very lives. So our desires are life's way of bursting forth from the seed into fullness, into perfect blooming. So we need to take it seriously. Really need to like honor it. Okay, I have this desire of intimacy, for instance, of travel. So I need to write that down. Writing it down is the first step of manifestation, and just allowing yourself to receive, because sometimes there could be like cross currents of things happening in the world, and you're thinking, who am I to want this, like who am I to open to this when the rest of the world is grieving? Shouldn't I grieve too? But life, again, going back to life isn't meant to degrade. It is not meant to fester. It's meant to burst forth. So we want to reunite with that idea of life as this perfect expression when all of these shadows come. That is just an opportunity for us again to break forth, without bypassing, of course. And then and then another is the desires, and then these are life taking us out from the seeds to fullness, especially with equinox. So honor your desires. Admiration is also very important. So we were brought up in a culture that kind of is very competitive. So when you see someone, for example, shining in their light, you're not trained to like admire them because you were probably shot down for wanting something bigger, and so you feel like it's not right to admire someone who's bigger. But it's resonance. So this is where the natural law comes into play. You can't admire or like something that's not already in you. So this is where the science of mind comes in. Like um if you like something, it means there's something in you that wants to come out and expresses that frequency. So for example, I just love you, Jamie. You're so wonderful because
I
I
just
don't know
love
when
you.
when you express, I can feel the connection maybe with the sky. Like it's not just ego, it's like an expression of life, very pure. And I admire it. And envy and admiration are very close to each other because something in you wants the same thing. And it's not a bad thing because it means life is drawing you out of the seed, you know? So the trick there, the technique there is definitely write your desire. If you admire someone, write down the qualities of the people you admire. Even better is make connections with these people.
Yeah.
Like, if you can befriend them, and if they're your friends on Facebook, compliment, compliment them. It's creating a line, a connection with, because it's not the person, it's what the person represents, because we are connected through values. So life is all about values. Beauty for the flower, the brilliance from the stars, awesomeness and grandness from trees. So each of us, as life, as unique as all the snowflakes, represents certain values. And each person that you see that attracts you represents a value. And the more you allow yourself to admire them and connect with them and compliment them, it actually gives you a connection, keep brings you to the frequency of the value that you see in them that is most likely is also within you. That's why you're feeling it with them. So that's the trick. We're actually kind of reprogramming ourselves from patriarchy, from the old way of competition, to realizing that we're all here to lift each other up. And what we find beautiful in another is the same beauty we have in ourselves. And to the degree that we engage it and just say yes to it, we actually come closer to our own unfolding in the same manner. So we have to consider life as our menu. What we see outside, what we like from the outside, and this is kind of going against materialism. So some materialism can be corrupted, but materialism itself is not bad because we do have bodies. Life is not apart. We cannot experience life apart from our physical existence. We are grounded. So abundance, like abundance is part, is a good thing, and it's to be enjoyed. Life is to be enjoyed. It's not a bad thing. It's not, so what you see outside as something you like, you have to admit it. We have to be honest.
Mm.
And so that's definitely a good exercise you can do. And that's not very easy with certain programmings we may have had in society. So just taking those steps alone will really open certain gates. It can take you forward. And the key is just to allow yourself to be led. And there's a flow to it. And then there's inspiration as well. So inspiration, so desire, admiration, inspiration. Inspiration is very important because, like what inspires you brings you out of bed each day. What gets you out of bed? It's important to identify it. The word inspiration is actually a physiological term for inhaling, right? So when we inhale, we actually activate the cells. We're made up of cells. So when we breathe, metabolism is cellular activity, which is activated by the breath. So when we breathe, we bring ourselves to life. And the term for inhaling in physiology or respiration is actually inspiration. So the word inspiration is both a physiological term for taking a breath that brings us to life, and it's also a very figurative term of bringing ourselves to life. So what brings you to life? You know, so these are exercises we can do before the equinox, or actually at any point that you feel it, right? Like there are seasons, but there are points in your life where you do feel just this drive, to, I want to do this. This is what I want to be. And to allow that channel, right? Because we are the channels of life. We are the vessels of expression as all the stars, flowers, and trees. And as ourselves, we are the embodiment and the expression of this life that we feel wants to come out through our desires, through our admiration, connecting with those like minds, and keep the people that, oh my God, I just love her, or I love him. And and allowing ourselves to be led forward, and just taking time to write down the qualities and how, of course, we all have our unique signatures. That's why I feel like astrology is important, because you have these models around you, but as you also understand your chart, then life will kind of bring inspiration down to you, like how you can make this and ground this into your reality, as maybe as your talents and skills, engaging with your current talents and skills so that you can express it as yourself through a work that you can do, or just inspiring maybe your relationships, again, dialoguing with the different needs of man and areas of life with our uniqueness, along with what we see that's outside of us, unified with the truth of life, which is just the wholeness, and allowing ourselves to be led by that.
Oh, this is so beautiful. And I love, as you were sharing, I was thinking, when you were sharing about our values and beauty and connection, and shifting from the competitive culture to this collaborative, like embracing culture. And I was thinking so much of Venus, and her connection with beauty, values, connection, and this like rising feminine energy. I kept on thinking, I was like, oh, you're speaking to Venus. And I love when I hear inspiration, I always think of the connection with the sun, that the sun gives us like our inspiration, and then Mars is like how we go out and really like direct our inspiration out. And so I was weaving the astrology in my mind as you were sharing that. So I love that so much. And I loved what you were sharing about, this force of life in us as us. And do you have any other, anything else you'd like to share on about like how we can maintain and support this life in us as us?
Yes, actually, it's good to, yeah, we all have seasons, like
Yeah.
we do have seasons of our lives as well. So there's a point in our life wherein we could probably just chasing after dreams, right? And then there's a point where you just want to settle down and be more in community and develop more personal relationships. So it's always good to dialogue with our current state. So it's really good to get down and dirty on where you are, like, because we have these things outside that tell us this is how we can be, or we get to be this, but we can engage it with ourselves. Really, we can't really get there without ourselves. We can't get to the finish line with ourselves back there. So it's actually just inviting us to ourselves. So I think that's why it's so wonderful how we have all of these things like shadow work, and all of these things coming up as well, because it's really just an engagement of our true selves and our authentic selves. And definitely like taking time to pause and having like really assessing yourself, what areas of life need your attention. I think especially now with the planets all in Capricorn, which is all about dedication and commitment and building, for to conquer your mountain, which is firmly grounded too. Like it's not going to be like wishy-washy. It's really building something that's going to last. And with Saturn, it's Saturn create its new cycle, its new 19-year cycle. I think it's an important time to really just examine where we are. That's the first step. Really, is like, who am I? Like, what do I really need right now? Because there's so much out there that you can get confused. You can. It's like being untethered. Like, if the sea is rough, you have to have a good anchor. So acknowledging your authentic needs is your anchor, because you are not, life is all, but life is us. It's a particularity. We are particular beings. We are life ourselves. So it's important to examine your relationships. Like, for example, me, that's what I'm doing, because the theory is there. But theory embodied is what makes our life beautiful. And we actually get to experience it not just as a concept, but as lived enjoyment and reality. So the first step is really just examining your life and checking, what are my needs now? Are my relationships in order? Am I fed? Am I properly nourished? Do I get to take care of my body? Like we can't do it without the body. Like, am I getting enough sleep? Am I happy with my surroundings? Are my surroundings supporting my unfolding? Am I, because we want to go fast, but we can't go fast with a flat tire or without gas, So the very basic stuff too, like, like there are a lot of people, they are successful, but they're sick, or they're successful but they're lonely, so I mean, it's okay, because I feel like different areas of life at some point will always be, there are areas of life that may be ahead of the others, but to check and make sure that it's not completely off balance, right? Like okay, maybe like I don't have a boyfriend, but I have good relationship with my family, and I'll get there. But it doesn't mean I'm going to abandon my my passions, also, because those are good things. And just to realize that at different stages of our lives, there will be certain areas of life that we will be focused on. So for example, there was a stage in my life I was all about relationships, you know and then I discovered my talents and skills in media and my love for traveling, so I was just so into that, to honor it as it comes. And then now I feel like I just want to give back, because I feel like I've learned so much. So it's different for each person, but it's important to engage it again based on honesty of where we are, what we feel we want to go towards, and also give to others. And that's really an important step. And also, yes, understanding the seasons of our lives, the needs related to these seasons, and how physicality has a lot to do with it. Sometimes we do want to be happy and perky. But for example, we're coming off winter season, right? So there's also a science to it too. Like you can't just force it in your head. You can't will happiness if there's something in the body. So yeah, we're leaving winter and we call it spring cleaning, right? Like uh we do get to enjoy life. We It's important to stop and enjoy. That's the purpose of winter. You shouldn't be working when you should be relaxing. So so after that though, after winter, there's a season of rising again. Like you say, the equinox is like a bursting forth again. So there are ways to go about it too, where you can release gently and in ease and grace, like for example, do detox, detox techniques that can help you, like say thank you to the year that was, taking what's essential from that, and taking it with you as you move forward to a new cycle. And again, dialoguing with the stars, with the chart and the transit, so we can move forward in an easy and comfortable way. And the important thing is we feel part of it, because this is our life. So whatever it is that we're learning, is that we engage our very life itself, because we are life expressing, we are one with all the flowers and trees, so we get to be part of this ecosystem.
This is so beautiful. And as you were sharing, I was wondering if you would lead us through, a short guided practice on how can we check in with our body and kind of get familiar with our needs, come into a relationship with our needs, because if we're living a really fast paced life or we're really up in our head and our thinking mind, we may not be as connected with the needs that our body's communicating to us. And so I was curious if you'd lead us through something.
Actually, like, okay. Well, first, okay, I'm just gonna share something that I practice also. So,
Yeah.
you could have like ideas about what you want to accomplish, and that's a good thing. The first step is to just write them down, like brain dump. Brain dump by writing it down. And writing is also the first manifestation of your desire. So, whatever you write, it's gonna come forth. And then, I mean, it's the first step. And then just allowing yourself to be in your body. So, for example, okay, maybe we can do something now. So, okay, so just I'll do a guided thing now. Okay, so just allow yourself to be here. You can bring your hand to your heart, left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. So it's actually interesting because even science is discovering how there are more neurons in the heart and gut than the physical brain, and how the physical brain is actually just a processing mechanism for the heart and the gut. It just helps us achieve what the soul wants, which is the heart and the gut. So just allowing yourself to relax right now and relaxing your breath, feeling yourself here, feeling the ground underneath you, supporting you in your seat, allowing yourself to relax and allowing yourself to be supported by the ground and perhaps the sounds around you. When we're in our heads a lot, like we can feel like we're alone, but our bodies actually have what they call proprioceptors. There are receptors in the body that when we feel ourselves grounded, proprioceptors monitor that our time space positioning. There are also receptors that monitor the internal environment and external environment for safety. But when we feel ourselves grounded in our bodies, it actually helps us feel safe. It brings us from our minds to the present moment. So just allow yourself to be here now with whatever it is where you are. If you're experiencing something, not to resist it. Resistance actually creates more tension because tension on tension just builds more tension. So I want you to release that valve. So imagine like you're a sponge. Instead of pushing something out, imagine yourself as a sponge that just absorbs it. Absorbing everything allows you to actually assimilate it, circulate it, and eliminate it. This is the natural drive of life. The natural drive of life, as all the stars, flowers, and trees, is to assimilate, circulate, and eliminate. Assimilate what's necessary. It knows what it needs. We don't need to tell it what to do. It circulates everything that's good and eliminates what's not necessary. These are all unconscious processes. So we get to trust life as our bodies operate for us. So release the valve, allow yourself to be a sponge and soften each and every part. Soften into parts of yourselves that may have held some tension. Have a smile on your face. When you have a slight smile, it actually opens up energy pathways, allowing you to receive more energy and light. Imagine energy running from the heavens. As you smile, it easily flows down without effort, receiving it down to your heart, your throat, clearing the mind, the throat, loving it up, the heart, loving it up, going down to your shoulders, the spine, like melted gold, or like light or rose gold. And whatever image is coming to you now is the best one for you. So I am liking rose gold, soft rose gold and pink. Just going down to your hands, touching your heart, going down to your belly, your spine, drenching your organs with love, going down to the belly, clearing it, going down to the hips, the legs, any tightness there, just allow it to flow. Don't ever feel like you need to figure everything out. It doesn't all happen with the mind. Just relax, allow it to flow down to your feet and all the way down to the heart of the earth. And as you breathe, Feel yourself connected to the earth, and the earth is rejoicing with you, joining back to itself, because we are one in life. We are not separate. The heart of the earth pulses with our heart as life. And we are connected all the time. So this is just a way for you to feel your connection with all of life, with the heavens and the earth, the sky and the earth, as the summit is bridging earth and sky. We are that bridge. And just honoring ourselves now as humans, honoring whatever it is you've received as you open up as a sponge. Whenever you feel inspiration or admiration or desires, just allow yourself to receive it like a sponge and engage the earth, the heavens, the sky, and the earth beneath you. And you are the expression of this perfect life that you are receiving as desires, and knowing that it is all happening for you and through you and as you, because you wouldn't have received this desire if it was not yours to receive. You would not feel anything if it was not yours to feel. So allowing yourself to receive any inspirations you may have had in this week, any admirations you may have had in the past weeks or months or maybe even years, just receiving them, these stars that for you shine for you, that make you follow them, are you, leading you out of your seed, out of winter into your spring, bursting forth from the seed as this wonderful flower or tree that you are. So, as the seed contains all the desires, aspirations, or inspirations you've ever had as a kid. Even maybe as a kid, you may have had stuff that are still there that you might want to absorb also as the sponge that you are. Allow them and know that it is expressing, it is meant to express, and nothing can stop the expression of the star, the flower, the tree, because that is the drive of life. There is one life. This life is God, source, universe. It is perfect. It is my life now. And imagine yourself now, all of these hopes, desires, aspirations, admirations, and deeds slowly, slowly bursting forth. You can be a flower if you want to, you can be a tree if you want to. Imagine yourself slowly, slowly bursting forth, and all life supports you. The earth is cheering for you, the sun is there, all of life is also blooming as itself for you. And you are free to do this without worry or competition, just as all the flowers bloom without worry. All flowers are beautiful, even if they're all different. No flower is ugly, no flower is competing with the other flowers. Everyone is free to bloom as perfectly as they can, spreading their fragrance. And you are here to bloom as you are. If you imagine yourself as a tree, you can grow forth and burst forth and be this wonderful, strong, and magical tree that just gives shade and cools the atmosphere with your leaves and brings forth fruit for all to eat. You are meant to express perfectly as all of the stars, flowers, and trees, giving off of your talents, passions, interests, and skills that other people can make use of and take sustenance from. They're eating off your nourishment because you are wonderful. You are a gift of life as all of the stars, flowers, and trees, brilliant as all of the stars. Imagining yourself now shining as perfectly as all the stars. Without competition, you are free to shine as wonderfully as you wish, as you feel you are meant to, knowing that nothing of you can hurt anyone because life only takes care of, support, supplies, keeps itself safe and secure. And because you are part of life, there's nothing in you that can hurt yourself or others. There's only support in all of life: safety, security, supply, and support. So as you allow your perfect expression, it can only support, supply, keeps itself safe and secure. You can only support life, everyone, as you also support yourself. There's this perfect unity, expression, love, harmony, and support, supply, safety, security in all of life. I speak these words of truth for every man, woman, and child in my consciousness, and so it is. And slowly, slowly, taking your time now, just immersing in that wonderful love affirmation of yourself as life. You can take that awareness with you anywhere you go, anytime you choose. slowly opening your eyes. So that's actually, we actually call that scientific prayer. We call that like a scientific prayer because it's unifying yourself with life, with nature, like honoring yourself as life, that it is always welcome, that you are always welcome, and you are here to bloom, shine, and grow. So I hope that helps.
Oh, thank you, Maria. That was so beautiful. What a blessing for us all to receive. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for sharing your gifts with us. I feel so amazing after that. I would love to open up space for you to share anything you have going on, any courses or offerings, things like that.
I'm so grateful to be here and, just be here with all of you and share what I've been given. So I feel like all my life I've been given so much. So, yes, I have several programs. One of them is Embodying Your Human Potential. So it's pretty much what we discussed today, like, really understanding our unique needs as man and unifying it with life so that we feel welcome to express in our perfect expression, and engaging it, in the module, or in the program, in the workshop. Really gonna identify, your needs, desires, inspirations, admirations. We're gonna workshop through it, do soul works in there. So you can really engage yourself, especially like you say, in the spring, equinox is the seed bursting forth. So I think this is just the perfect time to do it as well, to really engage your design, especially if you're taking astrology as well. It's like a good combination because you're really gonna marry your unique blueprint with how you can engage it. It's just more of like the how, like what we can do to really nurture the seed, because it's so important to nurture the seed so that it can really thrive. So the workshop will really help you with that. We're gonna engage, metaphysics and how we can be in integrity with, what we find. Like, finding and understanding our needs is one thing, it's the first step, but just like any plant, we need to take care of it. So understanding how we can be in integrity with our desires, how we can be a good stewards. We are the seed, and we get to be stewards of ourselves too, as seeds, as embodiments of our ideals and values. So we can perfectly express, and how we can be disciplined in a way. It's very Saturnian, but it's very important because I feel without structure, it's not possible to make something grow. So this is a good foundation for anyone who wants to really create something that's lasting, at least 19 years, at least gain the self dialogue that's necessary for you to engage yourself throughout your life, because this isn't just now. Like, this is something that you can take with you as you evolve. Whether your needs change, at least you can have the language in order to cultivate it and steward it so that it can support you as life. And that's one. And then there's also the embodiment part. So that's also my training. So, for because it's also very physical as well. Like, most of us, we want to be more vibrant, we want to be more, we want to be positive, right? But if there are blocks, for example, if they're emotional or psychic, or, like physical blocks, then it's not very easy. So just like you say, as within, so without, as above, so below, we approach it on both levels. It's very important because we are not just mind, we are also body. So I do have programs as well, like wellness programs, yoga programs, detox programs, that's gonna educate people on what they can do to also clear their pathways. It's like clearing your physicality so that as it meets inspiration, it's gonna be a combustion. You're just gonna ignite and combust. So both ways. So above and below, like mind and body programs. So I'd really love to share that with you. So thank you so much for this opportunity to introduce it.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria. And I'll have all of your links right below the video. So if anyone wants to connect with you, they can click on the links right here. And thank you so much, Maria, for being here. It's such a blessing to have you, to receive your wisdom. And I'm so grateful for the beautiful soul that you are here in this world. Thank you for being you.
Thank you to Jamie, and I am so grateful for you because you really create like wonderful formats for people to learn. And I can only imagine how important it is at this time. So I'm so grateful to be part of this confluence and movement. I'm
Oh,
honored.
well, I love you and I love you all who are watching as well. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in the next talk. Bye for now, everyone.